Hello everyone, I am bringing you some Star Wars Galaxies Legends. This is a private server that is running on NGE data. So as you can see, if I were to hit this button, I can show off I am playing as the Bounty Hunter. I've completed the Phase 1 and the Phase 2, and I'm trying to get to do the Jabba's Palace. One cool thing is like, this stormtrooper came in here and he was talking to me, and all of a sudden he's like, "You've been acting strange, I need backup," as you can see, and 3 more stormtroopers popped up. This is one thing I've loved about the Star Wars Galaxies game, was how the NPCs will actually walk up and start interacting with you. Now, I will not lie, NGE has its pros and its cons. Its biggest con is, of course, the class system. This was probably the biggest thing that killed the NGE, trying to become trying to compete with World of Warcraft while you already had a loyal player base. Now, I do love the actual more in-depth elements to it. It's still a sandbox game, but it is bigger than just a sandbox. It's now a sandbox hybrid, sandbox theme park hybrid. If I remember right, here we go. I can pick any one of these things. We're just gonna go with Jabba's Palace. Oh, and it's the other way. Of course, it's the other way. You can see it looming in the background. That is one really awesome aspect of this game as well. Shapes do show up in, or tall buildings show up in the background. You can see Jabba's Palace from miles away. Or in this game's considerations, I could see it over a kilometer away. Now, I'm not sure how to start up Jabba's Palace theme park. This is actually considered a theme park. This was original in the game. But in the NGE, I never did it. I was too high of a level to really care for Jabba's Palace, and I had already completed it once. And you would have to complete it a second time to even go in there, so it was not worth my time. But there's a few things I want to showcase in this series. It's going to be like a mini-series unless people want to see more. It's going to be the Galactic Civil Battles, which, as you can see, we have 2 hours and 30 minutes before the first big event happens on this planet. I'm going to show off what's it called? Some of the theme parks. And I'm going to show off the space combat, where probably the best aspects of the game. Can I enter? I can, okay. Alright, so I believe this is the first thing I need to talk with. I was more of a bigger fan of the old system, of the class system, where it was very flexible and allowed you to build whatever you wanted. I mean, granted, there was some problems with it, like it being overpowered as all hell with certain classes. Like Rifleman Combat Medic was pretty overpowered. And I will not lie, there was some really overpowered classes in there. Well, not classes, but combinations. Right now I'm using a, what is it called? It is a adjusted CDEF rifle. I don't know what that stands for, the CDEF. And it sounds so weird saying too. Now, I'm going down the sniper route for my bounty hunter. Which makes sense. I mean, in the Clone Wars, you did see there were some sniper bounty hunters. I'm also going with the ambusher route, where ambush basically is a powerful attack that debuffs your target, making them take bonus increasing your chance to crit hit them. Now, I do not know what crit numbers look like. I think they could just be yellow. Yeah, like right there, you saw me pop up with a yellow number. I believe those are crits. Now, I can't remember the law between Jabba and Hattie, or whatever it is. But I both know that they were rival. At one point they were rivals, at another point they were allies. I mean, they kept going back and forth, I do believe, if I remember correctly. Granted, I'm no Star Wars expert. So, you know, I'm sure someone in the comments can give me more details about the story between these two. That is one thing I've always hated about these things, is they're constantly running around. And I can strafe if I want to. The reason I'm using rifles is they are really powerful. And I love that aspect of them. That was one thing I did love about the rifles in Star Wars Galaxies. Maybe I'm even getting my characters mixed up, because I know there's a few factions out there. Just remember one was being ran by a female, but I can't remember what her name is. Yeah, it's like, I want to show off some of the theme park. And I figured they would be best to do Jabbas, because I'm right there in the level bracket you're supposed to be to do the Jabba's theme park. And that is one problem with the Bounty Hunter. You do not have any real AoE attacks. Oh! Fuck. Totally forgot. I was already low health. Well, what has happened? Oh, I didn't get any cybernetics. So that was another thing with the NGE. When you died, you had a chance of losing a limb. And besides my gear probably taking... No, it didn't take any damage. So that's still a mystery to me. I have no idea what are the penalties besides losing a limb. What's this? Clone sickness. Oh! I better go and cure that. That's something I do remember. You had to talk to the little medical droid after dying. I just now remember that. And he would remove that from you. Because if we look at my HP, yeah, my HP is pretty bad. Let's find that cloning facility again. Bounty hunting, that's another thing I wanted to show off. So you can see, bounty hunting is pretty lucrative. I think that's the highest paying out of this. I'm not going to sit here and try to refresh until I get something really high. But yeah, I wanted to show off a few of these things. Oh. That's new. Okay, so I've never done the bounty hunting things before, during the NGE. I did a commando because that was what I thought was going to be the closest to my main character, who was a rifleman combat medic. And I thought they had gotten rid of the combat medic altogether with the NGE, which turns out they just merged it into the medic, but it really isn't that fun. I've tried the medic on another server, which it wasn't really fun. It was pretty bad. Just my personal opinion. I mean, some people might like it, and you know what? If you like it, that's perfectly fine. That's better for you, because that's probably more of your playstyle. Mine was more of a long-range attacker. And I don't think medics could use pistols. Now, the other game I'm talking about was an unfinished NGE version where you basically had a little frog that would level you up and give you gear.
My scans indicate you're in perfect health. How do you feel?
I feel great. So let's go do the bounty hunter mission right now real fast. Alright, so let me look real fast where he's at. Yeah, other side of the planet. This would take the entire video to get there. I know you're probably thinking like, oh, you're kind of wishing around and doing all sorts of things. It's like, yeah, but I'm just trying to show off that this is a fully functioning NGE Star Wars game. I have no idea how much of it is from the original NGE when it went down, or how much of it is been implemented by the developers of the private server. But it is so far pretty good. I will not lie, NGE had its pros, but what killed it was trying to go after World of Warcraft's market, who were already invested in World of Warcraft. They weren't going to switch over to Star Wars Galaxies. And the Star Wars Galaxy market was already sold here. Oh, okay. And that's what really killed the Star Wars Galaxies, the NGE. Now, this is a spike you can get by doing slash flash, I believe. It's like slash flash. I don't think I'm going to have the ability to acquire another one because, well, I already have it. But if I go into my data pad, which button is that? Here it is. Yeah, it's a flash speeder, so you just do slash flash. Now for role-playing elements, I don't think this does anything. Oh. The hostiles over there killed her. Wow. So yeah, you don't really have to do that little talky aspect. It's just for roleplay flavor. Which is fine. If you liked it, you can do it. If not, you know, you don't need to do it. But it was kind of disappointing to get here to do the bounty hunter thing and trying to do the little roleplay, and she just ends up biting the bullet from neutrals. Well, not neutrals. They was clearly hostile, but they were NPCs attacking another NPC. That was something that Star Wars Galaxy did have. There were some NPCs that would go out and attack other NPCs. And that was really awesome. I loved that aspect of it. It wasn't extremely intense where it was like animals hunting other animals. But watching like rebel soldiers walking by an Imperial soldier and the stormtrooper just suddenly opening up fire on the rebels. And we got some Mon Calamari ships overhead. Oh, they are so ugly. They are so ugly. That looks like it. I mean, it's like a... It's a cylinder with warts on it. I don't know why people like the Rebels so much. Their ships are terrible. I'm going to head towards my little town of safety. But there is a lot of quests you can do now, and you can even create your own quest. I do not know how to create your own quest. I mean, is it this button? No? Okay. Would be nice if I could figure that out and maybe show off it real fast. General professions, expertise, appearance. This is something I do like. I do like the fact that there is an appearance feature now. So you, even if you have like a better gear, you can put on the old gear and make yourself look very unique. Like I can run around with some low quality with a Jawa, well not a Jawa, but yeah, let's go do that real fast. Oh, can I not do that for the guns? No, I can't. Well, that sucks. That really does suck because, that would have been really awesome, running around with like a Han Solo pistol and looking like a Han Solo clone. But you can't do that because unless you're going to really gimp yourself out by using one of the Han Solo pistols, which past like level 5 or 10 it absolutely suck, you're going to end up having to use some other weapon. And that's something I hope they can change. Add in a weapon appearance. I got these commandos. They look like fancy stormtroop. What is this? Oh, it's a security officer? Looks like a commando. I never could understand why the commandos looked at like just scout troopers. But then again, when you play other Star Wars games, scout troopers tend to be snipers. So I guess that makes sense then. Now, I was really disappointed with this game's version of the Dark Trooper. I'm pretty sure Dark Troopers look extremely different in the lore. Maybe, I think they just used the model from, what was it, Dark Force. You know, Jedi, Dark Force 1, which was later continued on as Jedi Knight 1 and 2. It is basically the story of Kyle Katarn. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Another cool thing about the game is that you do have these little buffs right here you can put on yourself. So that lasts for 14 minutes. That lasts for 5 minutes. Oh, it's just a strength modifier. So what happens is the game has these different stats. Strength, of course, is your melee damage. And what I mean by melee damage, your weapons have mid-max, and depending on how much strength you have or how much perception you have, increases the chances you will hit for the maximum damage, which for my gun right here is 95 damage. Now, this does not mean that it's is affected by the crit. When you crit, it's still going to be anywhere, it's going to be like what I'm pretty sure how the game works with the crit system is like most games where crits are just 200-250% damage increase of whatever it was normally going to be. So if I hit the low end and still crit, it's still going to be a low crit versus the high end crit. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, like I said, I don't know how the internal mechanics of this game works. I really couldn't get into the NGE because I had invested so much time and energy in the old game, and the massive change to World of Warcraft, which I was also playing at the same time, kind of drew me away. It was like, well, this is just a World of Warcraft skin or clone with the Star Wars skin painted over it. Why play this when I already have the better thing? Shit. I'm trying to de-aggro them. Okay, those are rebel troops. They won't count. Desert demons won't count. And that one was my bad. The guy moved and I ended up shooting one of the other NPCs. Let's myself buff up real fast. So these guys are a little tougher. You will have to use more abilities on them. I'm pretty sure I pulled a second. Yeah, I did. Now, another reason why the bounty hunters did get the, what's it called? Rifle skills is because there is a weapon that they can only use called the lightning rifle. It used to be classified as a heavy weapons, but I think it's in this has been reclassified as a actual rifle. Because there was the light lightning gun, and then there was the heavy lightning gun, and I think the heavy is now classified as a heavy weapon, which only the commander can use, and the other one is now a rifle, which is what the bounty hunter uses. You have to be careful, because when they move, I can accidentally hit another one. And we don't want that. Alright, so I did pull a second. I'm pretty much going to get end-capped right here. The heal seems to be a lot quicker on the cooldown than what it used to be, which is fun. But this is also the tier 2 heal, so, you know, tier 2 tends to be better than tier 1 in all these type of deals. I was kind of worried this guy actually pulled too, because it looked like he was moving towards me. What does this do? Perception and strength, okay. That's still something I'm going to end up having to figuring out is why does NPC A aggro but NPC B doesn't? Because I know I didn't shoot that guy. Maybe he witnessed his buddy being shot. That's probably it. Now, the original Star Wars Galaxy, there was a 3-bar system called the HAM, everyone called it. It was Health, Action Points, and Mind. And different classes builds could attack different things. Mind always being the weakest of, well, not always, but generally Mind was the weakest out of all the handbars, especially in PvP, which is why classes like Rifleman, especially when Rifleman got its massive buff and redesign, was so good at killing players. Then they also had like the T-21, probably one of the most brokenest guns in the game. Alright, so I have to go in here, and if I'm correct, these guys should have a low aggro range. So we're just gonna sneak right in. There's a Jedi. He's a Dark Jedi because he's using his little lightning. Alright, so I'm just gonna have to kill those guys, and they are a lot tougher. Or maybe that one I was fighting was a lot tougher. This guy's going down like a little bitch. Give myself a chance to get some energy back. Alright, you saw me just do a dodge attack. Well, not an attack, but, you know. I just did a dodge. Oh, that also reminds me. Don't I have points to spend? No, I don't. Huh? Alright. I don't know, this probably is not the most entertaining, especially compared to like my Warhammer PvP videos, but this is just something to show it off. I mean, this is just a little mini-series, in fact. Oh, what's this? 4 to agility. What am I wearing? 3 to an agility. Yeah, we'll put those on. I'll set that to equip to appearance. I mean, it's one more agility. But every little bit helps. Now, how the game does is like, you'll look at, I don't think I have any other guns besides the rifle, but you can see that the rifle's rate of fire is 0.8. Now, this doesn't mean that... Now, in this game, the lower the points, the better. So, a 0.2 is going to fire every 0.2 of a second. So, you'll get 5 shots off every second. While this is going to fire just slightly faster than every second. And I believe you can get your pistol sliced to do a 0.2 attack speed. Right now, pistols I think are normally at a 0.4. Carbines are at a 0.6, and rifles are at a 0.8. I know, some games like League of Legends, bigger attack speed numbers is better. Where it's like, if you have a 2.5, you're going to be attacking, your auto attacks are going to happen every 2.5 times per second. While this is literally just counting how many seconds it takes before you can fire again. Oh, Black Spike. Oh, did I fully crash?